You're going to love my guest, Ari Wintraub, today. Oh my gosh, he was so fun to talk to. Very exciting. Lives out in California, does a great business, lots of investment, personal investments himself. I think his goal is 100 doors, as they call it. But he's looking for multiple units and he manages them all himself. Sounds like he has a partner. You're going to want to listen in and find out more because he's got tips for you no matter what. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Real Estate Riches, where Kathy Byrnes empowers realtors to achieve the success they've always dreamed of. Starting her career at 55, Kathy built a thriving business that offers the freedom of time and financial independence. And now she's sharing her journey to help others do the same. Whether new to the industry or looking to level up, this channel is your hub for proven strategies, inspiring stories, and the tools you need to grow your real estate business. Join Kathy each week to explore global opportunities, successful systems, and expert insights to take your career to the next level. Get comfortable, pick a video, and start learning. Your journey to success starts now.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes with Real Estate Riches, and today we have Ari Wintraub. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. How are you? Great to be
Yes.
here.
So wonderful. Tell us a little bit about you. You're out in California, sunny California. Have you always been out there? How long you been doing real estate? All that good stuff.
Thank you for asking. I came out here 22 years ago on a motorcycle. It sounds a little cliche, but I had $600 in my pocket. And like a lot of people, you come out here to be in show business, which is what
Mm.
I drove my motorcycle across the country to come do. And after a decade of doing that, I realized it was time to move on
Mm.
and didn't have much professional training, so went into real estate.
Boy, I love
And
that.
everything I was doing before, waiting tables, putting myself out there, auditions, it all served me very well to
Mm.
come in 2014 as a sales associate at Sotheby's and get a career going pretty quickly.
Wow. Did you make connections in that with any people that had some opportunities for you? Did that help?
Yeah, of course. It's always a good thing to do, right? Is to
Yeah.
lean on people from our past lives. And so a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
not a lot, but you know,
Some.
yeah.
Well, I'm a networker on steroids and I want
You're
to
like a
know.
person who will go to the opening of an envelope.
A little more particular, but yes, my goal is, well, doing this podcast, I tell you what, I meet marvelous agents, and the goal of it is to empower agents. My license plate on one of my cars is empowered. I like to be empowered. I want to empower. And so that's my mission kind of in life. And I love your story about the motorcycle and 600 because I left Michigan at 55 and I had $600 to my name and I moved here 20
No
years ago
way.
and built my whole business, starting dead broke, not knowing anybody, and built my business.
So how'd you choose this beautiful looking lake area?
My daughter had left before, about 3 years before, and she loved it here. I'd come down and I'd visit because I was living a pretty large life before I walked away from it. But it wasn't a life that served me, if that makes sense. And so I thought if ever I'm going to break away, I need to do it, but I'll walk away with nothing. And so I thought, you know what? Let's do it. Because if ever I'm going to do it, I better do it now. And so it took me probably a year to settle down of my lifestyle being broke, of like, how are you going to start over? Because I wasn't always in that kind of financial situation. I raised my kids as a single mom and straight commission because I did investments. But there was a point there where I did it where I was able to back off from the work side because of the life I was living. And so I really wasn't making much money. I was dependent, and that's what I recognized. Boy, I'm dependent and I'm putting myself in a bad spot. And if I'm going to start over, I better do it now. And when
Right.
I chose to leave, I had 600 some dollars in my pocket. I was turned in my Lexus and had a little Taurus that was beat up all the way around. And I'm a car girl, in case you can't tell.
Tauruses are good cars.
It's a really sturdy car. I'm from Detroit originally area, and So it was a good sturdy car, and she was newer. She was probably a year and a half old that I bought off my guy's mother for $6,000.
So with this town, this lake community north of Charlotte, when I'm looking at on maps, it has all it's what's unique. I've never seen this before. When you pull up on maps and you search Lake Norman,
Mm-hmm.
there's all these red lines, these red dots that circle the whole gate. Is that just the way that maps is designating the area? Maybe it is. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a man-made lake that
No
they did.
way.
Yeah, it's a man-made lake, and we have a nuclear plant there, and so it's to power the whole area. And so
And
it's a
it's up
nice,
and running, the nuclear.
yeah. And
Right. Because they're trying to decommission so many of those.
well, that would be trouble here because they really need it, you know. But
Right.
the price point of the homes on the lake now, well, that was my niche. When I came here, I said, I'm from Michigan. I'm from a lake state. I'm going to work the waterfronts. I'm going to pick my price point from my financial planning background. I saw, here's my target market. I pay attention to my net, and what am I going to do here? So back then, you could get a waterfront property for 4 to 900 thousand, which was that's unheard of now, of course. And that was back in 2006. And
Right.
so, but now, you know, it's nothing to see them for 14 million or 10 million, which was just hard to believe on a man-made lake because if it rains, that lake turns red because we have clay, the red clay around here. It's kind of a scary look. So,
But
but
you're
beautiful.
getting upwards of 10 million on some of
Oh,
them.
yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Lots of them. And they
It
don't
looks
necessarily
beautiful.
have good water because it's all
Wow.
these little coves.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's tons of little coves. The
tons of
topography is
little
really
coves.
neat.
So I
Who
became
are
a
the buyers
waterfront.
for out there?
The buyers, they come from all over. Originally, I saw a lot would just come from Charlotte area because we're about 30, 45 minutes, it depends on where you are in Charlotte. And so they would have second homes up here. And that's why a 400 to 900 made sense to have a cottage, right? And on the lake where they could get out, go swimming, go fishing. And but over time, they started to tear down those cottages and put up mega mansions. And
Right.
then it just started to really grow. And because you had to study it, because there's a lot of rules on a man-made lake of the setbacks and all these different things. And that was my focus. So that's where I built my business.
Beautiful. Good for you.
Well, you know, I think when we don't have any money, it's non-negotiable not to succeed. So you're going to figure it out. And I wasn't going to, I needed to know the niche that I wanted. I needed to know the net that I needed to make to survive because my daughter was supporting me the first 3 years. And I needed to get out and let her be. You know, she was young, and here I am taking over her world. So,
Good for
anyway,
you. Very
so,
commendable.
so you did real estate yourself starting there, and then you went into investments.
Yeah, I was selling since 2014
Mm,
as an agent in LA here in the West Side at Sotheby's, and just came into a good market, a really good office with
mm.
great leadership, great management, and mentor. And so was able to have a good year the first year. I think in 2014, I think I made like 75,000. I was thrilled
Yes.
and just sort of built on that and started doubling it more or less every year. And then in 2016, already 40 years old, I hadn't bought any real estate and made my first home purchase.
Mm,
And I was listening to a lot of Bigger Pockets podcasts and,
yeah.
was around people that were buying investment properties. And so on that house, after fixing it up, was able to pull out a HELOC and put $200,000 down on a fourplex. And then I just kept doing that. So every time I'd be making a commission check, I was single, working 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I didn't have any expenses. I drove an old car, not a Taurus. And so everything I was making, I was putting into fixing up the units and trying to buy another one. And, I talk about that journey on my podcast, the second episode, where we sort of talk how we grew it from that first house to which is now 40 units.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, you're very strategic and smart with your money. You would think since I did financial planning, I would have been smart, but I was not. I
You were
was just,
too busy helping the clients.
yeah, that's exactly it. I bought my very first house on my own at 67. So I was pretty excited about that. And it only cost me $2,000 out of pocket because I negotiated the repairs, I negotiated
Whoa.
all it down. I was like, I can do 2,000.
The seller helped with like credits and get a low
Yep.
down payment loan and stuff.
I just did a regular loan, and as a matter of fact, the first because I refinanced it in when the rates were really low. I've got a 2.75% interest rate on it, and I had it at a 15-year mortgage, and I changed it to a 30-year mortgage because I thought my kids don't need this little house. I wanted more cash in my hands to be able to do more things. Because for me, as much as I would like having a portfolio, I prefer to travel and be reckless with my money.
Yeah. Well, that's just great. And I commend that. So is that a lake house on up
No,
in
no.
Norman? Okay.
No, I lived on the lake on a couple different houses, but they were rentals. And that's how I leveraged my neighbors were. I got a golf cart that I wrapped so that it had my number and stuff on. I drive it all around the area. I had my grandsons with
Is
me.
that the best way to get around the lake is on a golf cart?
It was on my particular peninsula because, like we talked, it's all peninsulas. And you could scoot down a peninsula really easy and scoot over to the fingers on them like crazy. Like mine was a mile long peninsula. And
Right. So then you're not having to go back out to the main road. You can just
right.
go along the beach and all that.
Well, no beach. They don't have
Okay.
beach. It's not a beach here,
But
but
you can go
same
along the
kind of,
dirt.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
The
could go
dirt.
down the little streets all around there, and
Right.
my goal was to figure out like who lived there, who was the second home. I really worked it to figure out and created a whole list so that they became my marketing list of second homeowners.
How many properties on the lake do you sell a year?
Right now, I'm really backing down because I don't want to sell properties. I want to do outgoing referrals. And this is what I was going to ask you about. I do global referrals. My last podcast that I did with a guy in Beverly Hills, he told me he had a referral for Kenya. And he said, could you do something like for that? We had already been off the podcast, and he sent me a text. He goes, I don't want it if you want it. It's an oceanfront home in Kenya. I said, let me see. I was able to solve that in an hour with a high quality agent, and I have an outgoing referral on $1 million property. I'll take it.
Fantastic.
And I'll stay with them to make sure that client's happy because they're paying me 50%.
Are you finding most of your referral partners from doing the show?
No, I have my referral partners are agents, well, on the show, but I was on a summit that was this last weekend, for example, and there were people in there, high net worth investors, as well as that primarily looked at hotels, but I had a whole package of islands and wineries and things. I have agents I'm with EXP, and through the different international fingers that we've got, I work Portugal a lot. The agents over there, I said, give me a list of all your ones that you want me to feature in this a summit where it was an online summit to all these high net worth investors. I said, but make it a teaser. Don't give them the location where it's at, because then if they're interested in that, as I have them do the QR code for the booklet that has all these different deals, I said, I want you to pay me a commission if I bring you a deal. They all agreed. Well, I had a $49 million island in Portugal that is perfect for a developer that really wants to do something big. And
Hmm.
49 million is pretty exciting because it's valued at 80 million. It's a distressed island,
Right.
not because it's distressed, the pricing on it. You got to
Well,
come in
good for
and
you. That's a
yeah,
lot of fun. And
it's
I know
fun.
EXP does really work the referral system. Have you met, he was a Sotheby's executive focused on on developing new countries and new markets. His name is Michael.
He used to be with us, but he's gone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He's a cool guy. So he was with you guys when he left Sotheby's like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he's now
And
with
so,
LPT.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him well.
Yeah. No,
And
we at Sotheby's are also huge on referrals. It used to be about 25% of my business. Geez, it might be the same or it might be more. But what about you? How much? It sounds like for you it's 100%.
Well, I get residual income because that's the formula with EXP. I build an organization recruiting different agents to the company, and
And how
I
does
love
that pay out?
that's my favorite part.
Like six figures?
Five right now, but it'll be six hopefully by the end of the year.
Great.
Yeah, because I'm focused on it and I look for very specific types. I look for entrepreneurs. I look for agents that aren't necessarily investing like yourself where they have no end game. Like here I am at 75 and you say, "Well, what's your end game, girl?" Well, my end game is the stock at EXP and the rev share and the outgoing referrals. That's
Good
how
for
I've
you.
created my end game.
And this show can help.
This show helps. Well, I gotta, Kenya,
So if you're not staying on the lake, are you staying in Charlotte?
I'm near the lake. The lake's
Okay.
just down the street from me. Well, my granddaughter, I was renting. I had a great little A-frame, 600 square feet, which was fine for me. But it
I
had
like
water.
living in small places too.
I love living in little homes.
Yeah.
And it
We're
was,
like, we adjust as humans,
yes,
we adapt.
we don't need it. So it was 600
But when you
square
have
feet.
it, you could use it. When you have a 6,000 square foot home, you end up
You'll
needing it
fill
and
it
using
up.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this was an A-frame, 1960s A-frame on 500 feet of main channel, so 500 shoreline. So that, and it was at a tip. It was at the tip of that peninsula. So I had all main channel for me and a little baby island off to my left, which my grandsons would swim over to like they conquered the island and stuff. Sometimes deer would swim over to that island and I'd see all the boats out. It was heaven. I love that. I lived there for 6 years for $1,000 a month.
Sure. Yeah.
And it was for sale the whole time. The guy had priced it so high. I said, "Buddy, you planning on changing that price anytime soon?" And he goes, "No," because he had the 2007 mindset of the price.
Did it ever
And
sell?
it finally sold.
How much?
It sold for 950,000.
That's huge prices, but you're buying for the land
You
because
were buying for the land. Well, see, and
yeah.
it's all septic there. The guy was smart because this was 11 homes on the tip of the peninsula. And around that was a plot of land. He bought that plot of land. So he set it so the septic could be on that plot of land and go underneath the road so that he could use all the square footage because it was a pie-shaped lot with all
So
the
he was
setbacks.
very specific with where he located the septic. Yeah.
Yes.
Malibu, where I've been doing more business lately, and I have my biggest listing ever in Malibu right now, is all septic.
Yes. This is
Is
septic here, like crazy.
mostly septic. What's interesting about Malibu, and I'm going to put this out, it's fascinating to me. There's a foreigner from New Zealand. Do you have offices in New Zealand, EXP?
Do we? I think we're in Australia. We might be in New Zealand. I'm not positive.
Yeah, I'd love to go over there. I have a good friend from there, but these lots that have all been burned from the Palisades fire
Mm.
at the beginning of the year have been for sale, and a very strategic investor has been buying them up. The criteria is it needs to have, it's not 400 feet like you guys are talking about. It's only about 50 feet or is his criteria wide on the ocean, on Malibu, in the most expensive strip of beach, which is called Carbon. And he's bought 65 million of these lots. He's bought 9 lots so far, and he's a foreigner. And it's going to take a long time, obviously, for them to get built and then for the value to come back and everything else. But it's great to see that people believe in the future and that it's going to come back.
Wow, I love him because he's really he's forward thinking. He saw probably a discounted opportunity, right?
Of course, yeah. These
Yes.
homes could be 40 million
Oh,
easily.
wow. Yeah, brilliant. Boy, I love this guy. We need to know his name. Let's see if we can find some other stuff for him. So that's what I was going to ask you. So are you working your existing circle of clients looking for outgoing referrals? The reason I asked
Well,
that,
ask again because I want to follow the question clearly.
okay, so if
Ask
I
it in
had a
simpler terms.
okay, if I had a book of business of high net worth clients that I was selling to, and I was only focused on my area, yet knowing that that particular style individual buys in other locations around the
Right.
world.
Am I doing that?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Big
Oh,
time.
good. You're the
Yeah.
first one.
No, I mean, my clients, where if they're traveling, I'm connecting them with my colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Not,
love
no,
that.
I have to be doing it more, but it's on my mind. And, my client right now is buying in Brooklyn, and she's using my partner that I referred her to.
Yes. And most people just think, well, if they're selling, I ask where they're going and I'll try and get them a referral partner. No, I say be on purpose with your database and for example, if I have the $49 million island and my whole database or a big chunk of my database was some of them investors, because that's an investor purchase. It's not just like I want to go have an island for 49 million, but an investor who's a developer might really love that if they wanted to be in Portugal and they saw it was in an incredible area near lots of people vacationing as well as close to the airport, and was prepared to work with people over there that could help them develop that out. That
So
might be,
you're talking about, this is a listing that one of your partners has.
yep,
You're not waiting for someone to call you
right.
and say, Kathy, I'm going to Portugal. Who do you know? What you're doing is you're proactively calling developers and people that you think should know about these opportunities,
Yes,
and
yes.
then sharing the listing with them.
Primarily people that I would know, like in my own database.
Right.
If in my own database I have
Mm.
high net worth, that that's a developer who wished he had a place in Portugal or something like that,
Right.
and you just say, here's an opportunity. I've got vineyards. I've got
Or
a
even if he doesn't know he wants to be in Portugal, you're going to
right.
call him and tell him that he should want to be there.
Yeah, that's right. Opportunities knocking. And I have a vineyard. I have a legacy vineyard because there's so much history over there. A
Again,
lot
now
of,
you're listing one of your referral partners listing
it's
a
not mine.
vineyard,
Yeah.
and you're going to call people and tell them about it.
Yeah.
It's great. It's very smart. At Sotheby's, and anyone could do this, but we can feature our partners, our
Hmm.
referral agents, our referral partners. We can feature their properties. So when you go on
Yes.
my website, it shows my global listings, and it shows, a couple dozen of something in Aspen that Chris Klug
Right.
has, or Leslie Modell in New York, or could have, my partner in Italy, and that's where they can see those listings. But it's passive. I
It's
like that
passive.
you're picking up the phone and you're trying to connect the dots, and that is something I have to do more of.
Well, I'm thinking you got the opportunity to do it. Not
We do.
everybody does. Not everybody has, because you really need connections.
That's right. And you need the agents that are sharing the photos with you, and sharing
Yes.
the listing. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Yeah. Happy to do it. And if there's any ones you don't ever want to do and you don't have a place, you think of Kathy.
Of course, most definitely. Yeah.
Yes. Tell me about AI in your business.
It's funny that you ask that, because I'm so novice with it, but that's what's making this answer maybe more interesting, because I am now for the first time utilizing it. And
Mm,
so I'm like a newbie. Um,
I'm glad you're doing it.
yeah. And
So
so
exciting.
so it's the simple stuff: to write an email better, or to get listing copy better. I just used it this weekend on a promissory note
Mm,
that I needed to draft. And so it's great for me on that stuff. I'm very low level, but I'm blown away on how we can draft letters and notes and invitations and promissory notes. So
yes.
making my life easier. How are you utilizing it?
Well, I teach it and I've been doing it for about 2.5 years. I'm obsessed with it. And if I started
Yeah,
to say,
is this you? Am I actually talking to Kathy? Or is this
yes,
AI?
you are me today. And it's definitely me because if I had my AI, I'd clean up the neck and a bunch of other things. And that'll be the telltale sign, people.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm teaching a class tomorrow, as a matter of fact, 11 Eastern Standard Time, and it's the intermediate class. It's for somebody who kind of knows the basics because I've been teaching the basics for, oh, probably a year. And I want realtors to get how important this is. And I just went on Gemini, which is Google's AI,
Right. I've never done that.
and you can do it for free too. And it integrates with your emails and it integrates with your calendar. And I just went and asked it. I said, "Hey, do I have to have the paid for version for you to do this?" And it goes, "Nope." And I said, what can I do?" And then it told me everything that I could do for free. And I said, "Well,
Right.
I like all that stuff, so I'll play with that." And it's a twin to ChatGPT.
But it's more integrated with your Google apps.
Yes, yes.
Right. Like I might go in there and ask it. I don't use Google Calendar, but I use Gmail. I could ask it, is there any tasks that have left undone from,
See?
that you can see in my email?
Yes. You could say, I had this email from this guy. I can't find it in here. It's not pulling up on any of my searches. Will you find it? Boom, it finds it just like that. I love it. The
Cool.
time saver thing. Now, I've had this website forever, and I've been sent out 150 emails yesterday to my organization. And I was going through just seeing like who read them. And I was seeing really weak responses. And I think, are you just being lazy,
Was
or
it
are
an
you?
e-blast?
I did it as not through that. I did it through Go High Level, which is my CRM.
You did it through your CRM. You sent out how many messages? How many people?
150.
150. Yeah, on Follow Up Boss, we call it a batch mail. And then so your CRM gives you a report of how many people opened it or clicked.
Which is what I wanted to see, right? And I have a domain name for because it's my website in there and it does a million different things, all the workflows and all this stuff. And so I went in to say, "Are you opening these things?" And I would go in, I could see that it was sent out, but it doesn't necessarily say was it delivered to their email address. It just would show that they didn't open it. So then I would send them a text and I'd say, "Hey, did you get the email? Or you just didn't feel like reading it?" And I said, "I'm not being a jerk, just trying," because they're in my organization and I was giving them updates. I go, "Hey,
Okay, right,
hey, buddy, did you get it, or did it not show up?" And some would
right,
say, "No, I don't get it." Well,
right.
that was interesting to me. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, "I've got Go High Level. I just sent out 150 emails. I do not have a separate email that matches my domain. Is that a problem for me?" And it said, "Yes, absolutely."
You
It's
mean, okay, so the email that is going out from does not match Kathy normal email that you like to use.
Well, if I use my normal, I could blow out my email and be labeled as spam, so I don't ever want to
So you
use.
don't want to use it, but you want the domain to match, is what they're saying.
I want the domain email and have it to be registered. I didn't know I needed to do that, but that's what ChatGPT told me. I said, "Okay, so how do I do that?" And I said, "Speak to me like I'm a fifth grader." So,
And it did.
because I need step by step by step, don't you skip a step. And I sassed with it. And so it told me step by step by step. So I had to go into Google Workplace. It matched me with GoDaddy, where my domain was. I said, "Here's the first part of the email that I'd like." It said, "Okay." Now I said, "Well, I don't want it sitting over there in Workplace. I need it integrated into my Gmail. How do I do that?" Step by step by step. I'm in the process of finishing that up right now. I'm very excited about it because
That's a
it's,
great use.
yes.
That's a great use.
So it also, if you use the app, my car was acting up. I have a 65 Shelby Cobra. I don't think you're a car guy if you like an old car on a regular. I mean, I couldn't live in an old car for very long. That wasn't a classic. So anyway, mine was,
You have a 65 Shelby?
yeah, that baby right there.
How do you fit in that thing?
It's little. I'm little. Slip right in.
So what happened with that? You asked it how to fix or do something?
Well, I had the app and I clicked
Chat
on.
GPT?
Yes. So I clicked on the cloud, which makes it talk to me, but it also has a camera component to it. So I've got the hood up and I said, "Can you see inside my car?" It said, "Yes, I can." I said, "Okay, here's the antifreeze dripping out." I said, "I don't know what kind of antifreeze to put back in, and I don't know how to solve the problem."
Uh,
And so I said, "Help me." It said, "Well, first of all, that's toxic for your dogs. Make sure they don't come in the garage where it's leaking. I go, oh, good point. And so it tells you everything. It told me
Yeah.
what kind of antifreeze I needed. I said, I don't even know where to put it in. Where do I put it in? Tell me which one of these holes in here, because I'm not a gearhead. I just love that car. So then I ended up having it repaired and fixed by somebody else because
Ah,
obviously there was a problem. But the fact that it would go back and forth with me was amazing.
yeah, that's cool. I didn't know it has a video feature. Wow.
It's live
Um,
and talks to you.
yeah. What's the course like that you're doing?
Oh, it's simple. Tomorrow, it's basic. I'll just kind of go over different points of ChatGPT. I'll touch on some different ones, but I want it to be kind of a question and answer. Like I'll tell people like little tidbits like that. I'll say,
Uh-huh.
now, what have you done? And my mind just goes on, well, here's what else you could do in that component to take it to another
Well,
level.
send me the invite for it. If I'm around, I'd love to pop in.
Sure. It's just
Yeah,
coachkathyburns.com and you register and boom, you'll be in the Zoom. It's 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Coach Kathy
great.
Burns.
Very good.
So, got any other final tips for us? I know you got to go pretty soon.
Tips.
For agents who want to be an investor like you.
Well, yes, that I think is maybe more unique about my real estate business.
I do too.
And actually, my friend who's somewhat of a coach, he often tells me how surprised he is that more realtors are not investors. There's a lot that are. There's a lot of realtors that are flippers as well.
Small amount.
Or yeah, and it's because we're on the MLS and we have relationships with vendors and we see a lot of property and we understand it. So for me, it makes sense. It does require a balance between the sales and our clients and servicing them and then trying to keep up with the investments and yeah, I manage my own properties.
Oh,
So
you
we're
do?
yeah, to have a full time that helps. So if you want to do this, you got to scale and have someone to help you.
Oh, I thought you were saying you manage them all.
No, I manage them, but we manage them, but I have a full time guy that I work with that
Oh,
is
okay.
helping me. So because it's a lot. So you got to be able to balance those two. When I'm working on my investment stuff, I used to be better at designating the time of day. So when I was going after deals and trying to raise capital, I would do that from like 6 in the morning to 8 in the morning.
Sure.
And then if someone wanted to have a call when we were rehabbing a building, we were, having calls at 6 o'clock. I would tell my partners, I can talk after work hours at
Mm-hmm.
6 p.m. because you got to have the money coming in. You got to have income from your commissions.
Yeah.
So you can't close the door on that. And I don't want to. When
Sure.
I'm buying duplexes and when I'm buying property or fixing things up, the money's not coming from the rents. I mean, these things break even or make $1,000 or a couple $1,000 a month.
Takes a while to build
It
that
takes a
equity up.
while. It takes a while the equity's there, but it's harder to tap into it now in ways of HELOC like initially I did.
Yeah.
So I need the commissions coming in to be able to fund the next investment. So you got to run that balance and you got to time block and be able to service your clients while be able to take care of the investments. So that's, I think, the best advice, to try and set up times a day where you're looking at deals. We time block every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. And Thomas and I will stay late and we'll look at deals and what's out there. The one thing I need to do better at is having meetings and teeing up investors because we've put in some deals in escrow and then I came up short on the capital raise. So that's I know where my weakness is because
Which
you're not I'm not going to get to 100 units by doing duplexes, which I like and make money and they appreciate well, but you need to go after bigger deals and you need capital to do that. You need partners.
So this is exactly how you can use ChatGPT. You would literally, I believe you got to teach it who you are. And you create the custom GPT. I have a whole thing on that I'll send you. And it's the
Right.
basics.
Like, yeah, last time we were using it Thomas was saying, when you get the email that you're going to send and you get the final one, that if we tweak and we make our own, tell ChatGPT, this is what I ended up using.
That's good because it's going to see that. But
Right.
there's a way to teach it so it'll know you. You're going to ask, and I'll show you all that. I'll send you the video link where I taught it, and I'll send you the guide that'll step
Would
you
you
through.
do that, Kathy?
You got it, buddy.
All right, pal. My
So,
pal in Norman Lake.
yeah. So here's the tip for your investment business. You just say, you go in and spill. Here's everything that I'm doing with my investment business.
Right.
Here's my vision. Here's my challenges. Design a process for me to be more effective, whatever the goal is. Just give me the
Like a
processes,
business plan. Give me a business plan.
and it will. It will.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'm going to try that one. That was really good. Yeah. And thanks for having me. And please, you or your guests or your partners, check out mine, which is called All Things Real Estate.
Yes,
with
I looked at it.
Ari
Very nice.
Wintraub. We're also on Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's great. Yeah. I just like casual conversations.
It's true. It's felt
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. It's easy. All right, Ari.
Thank
Whatever
you.
your next appointment is, I wish you the best, and I want to thank you for coming.
It always is the best. It's lunch.
Thanks.
All
And thanks
righty.
everybody else. I really appreciate you being on here on the show, and stay tuned for lots more good content just like this. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. Let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.